Oh my gosh. Season 2 of the finals is here. In this video, we're going to go through all these patch notes, and in the end, I'm going to show you a couple of the changes that they've made. I'm going to make a totally separate video that's going to talk about new strategies to use some of the new weapons and stuff, but we're going to go over just maybe one or two things that they've changed here in the patch notes that I can show you in the practice arena. But without further ado, let's get into these patch notes because this is huge. They've made tons of changes, and I think for the absolute better. This is just amazing. So as looking at the page here, just the opener, it reads, "Welcome to a whole new season of the game, contestants. Much has changed in and out of the arena, and you can expect lots more as the season progresses. If you want to hear the TDLR version, click here. You may encounter some strange things in this season now that CNS, a rogue hacking collective, has infiltrated the game show. While the showrunners fight for control over the finals, you'll fight it out with an array of game-changing gadgets and specializations that will require all contestants to rethink their strategies. Here's what to expect." Okay, so cool. And then, you've got your video here, everybody, the trailer. I hope everyone watched that. They released this trailer before they actually dropped the Season 2 update, and that was just so hype. I mean, that was it got me just crunk. I was getting goosebumps watching it. So essentially, like in the lore, the CNS, which is this outside kind of real world group that's trying to expose and infiltrate the game show that is the finals, that's kind of the cliff notes of what we know about them. The Season 2 kind of themes around their infiltration. So what they've done is one of the first things they've done is introduced 5v5 Power Shift, that playlist. And this game mode is absolutely awesome. I mean, it is a chaotic, fast-paced, high-octane blast of nonstop fun. I just can't get enough of Power Shift. So Power Shift is a brand new two-team mode. It's a casual 5v5 where you'll compete to escort a physical platform through the arena as it rips through anything in its path. With short respawn times and the ability to switch contestants on respawn, you'll be able to balance your team on the fly as you fight to control the platform and be the first to deliver it across to the finish line. So basically what I've called this as, it's like King of the Hill combined with Tug of War combined with football. So the platform is King of the Hill. So whoever controls the platform moves the platform, and it's like Tug of War kind of in that sense. But instead of pulling the rope towards you to win, you're pushing it toward the end zone. So that's kind of where football comes into play, or like American football, where you're trying to take that football and move that down into the end zone to score a touchdown. So you're essentially trying to move the platform into enemy territory to get to the end zone to score the touchdown or win. At the end of the timer, because of course there's a game clock, whoever is dominating that platform wins the game essentially. That's kind of the clip notes. They did make some changes to where you can change contestants during the game. So instead of being locked into the contestant that you selected at the beginning of the match, you can kind of change and make make your team, it's more malleable in terms of strategy. I'm going to make a whole video on how to dominate Power Shift because I played a lot of it on day of launch, and I think I've got a pretty good strategy. All right. So one of the other things they did that I won't dive too deeply in, but they've got the Learn the Ropes here, where they're addressing an all-new tutorial set in the streets of Monaco that lets new players learn the ropes and provides a testing ground to try out gadgets, specializations, and weapons. So this is pretty dope because the initial kind of like, hey, I'm total noob to the game tutorial was not great. And so basically new players, completely green players, were getting thrown to the wolves because they'd go through that little thing, which was pretty whack, and then they'd go jump into like Cash It or Bank It, tournament, or God forbid ranked. They'd be on your team, when you've got a couple of months or whatever under your belt, and they would just be totally new, which you can't really hold it against them. So this is a cool improvement that I like. Embark, what they've done here is to try to make it more to make it easier to grease the grooves, if you will, for new players to step into the finals arena. Which this game is so freaking awesome. Everybody needs to play the finals. Everybody should sell or get rid of or delete or uninstall any other and every other game you own and just play this because it's that awesome. I mean, whatever. Grain of salt. That's my 2 cents, my opinion. All right, so we got 3 new weapons. We got 1 weapon per class. We have the FAMAS, which is a 3-round burst assault rifle. It's for the medium. To me, this weapon has Halo battle rifle vibes, just I guess without the scope because it's iron sights. And I think I really like it. I think it's almost a combination of the FCAR and the assault rifle, and they've made some, or the AKM rather, FCAR and assault rifle. So it's kind of like it's like a little bit of the FCAR and the AKM, and later we'll talk about what they did to the AKM because they made some weapon changes. I think this might be my new favorite weapon for the medium. I got to do some more tests. Then we have the 9.3R. Wait a minute. Is it 9.3R? I thought it was 9R3 in game. Huh. Okay. Anyways, that aside. So this is the new pistol for the light class. And this thing shreds. Absolutely shreds. It is also a 3-round semi-automatic burst pistol, or handgun rather. And you can just I think it just shreds. It's really kind of best close-ish medium range. I think that's where it really shines. But it honestly has it's decent at longer ranges. Now, I'm not talking like the LH1 or obviously sniper rifle ranges. I mean, those weapons are in a class of their own. But in terms of what it can do up close, it's decent enough at some distances. So this also might be my new favorite weapon for the light. I was kind of I'm a big XP54 guy when it comes to light. The pistol's fun, but XP54 I think is the best, kind of most well-rounded weapon. I don't know. I still have to test, like I said. And then we have the KS-23, a slug shotgun for the heavy, which I think is absolute crap. To me, this gun sucks. It might just be me. I might not be the best with shotguns, but this one-shot slug shotgun to me is not as good as the spread shotgun that the heavy already has. If you think differently, please tell me about it in the comments. Give me like a good argument to why this gun doesn't just suck. So there's that. There's the KS-23 shotgun. That's my opinion. All right. So now we have some CNS centralized utilities and specializations entered into the game, and this blew my mind. I did not see this coming. Obviously, going into season 2, the hype was, of course, we're going to get something, right? Like, we're going to get some new utilities. That was like the hope. And you just had to think, like, they got to come correct with something. But I just didn't even imagine that they would kind of step into this digital manipulation realm that they did with the glitch kind of theme. And it is just so freaking dope. So as the mediums get the dematerializer, which is a new specialization that temporarily erases physical surfaces like walls and ceilings, etc. It allows players to see, shoot, and pass through solid surfaces. You can create new pathways and close them back up again. Each action costs a charge, and the dematerializer can hold up to 3 charges at once. So this kind of speaks for itself. It's almost like editing in Fortnite, where you can edit your builds. And I've seen some guys, I've already played with some guys who were using this as their specialization. It was cool. I have not really used it that much, but just to see it in action is pretty dope. Now, what you can think of is like, is this strong enough to change out for, let's say, the heal beam? I don't know. But nonetheless, it looks cool. It seems like it's fun. I think it may be so. Maybe so. You might really have some advantageous plays from this. Then we have the gateway, which is for the light. It's a not a projectile, but it's a throwable, kind of like a grenade. Let's see what they got here in the description. A pair of limited range deployable portals for the light build. When both are thrown, contestants and objects can move between the 2 locations. Anyone can use the portal, but can't see or shoot through them. Thrown items and projectiles can also travel through the gateways, but not objectives like the cash-out stations. So this is like a portal grenade, essentially. And you can kind of see it here on the right in the footage. You can throw one down, throw the other one down, and you click your action button to go through the portal. So you don't just run into it and then go through it, which is kind of nice because then you won't accidentally go through it if you didn't want to, it's actually pretty smart. You have to press your action button, which on mouse and keyboard, for me, it's going to be E. So that's how I, click the button on the elevator or whatever, or what have you. So that allows me to go through the portal, and you can go back and forth, and then you could throw projectiles through it. So you could throw grenades through it. You could throw the cache, the vault through it. You can shoot an RPG through it. In the direction you're facing, like let's say you're facing true north, when you throw the grenade through it facing north, it'll come out the other side, go following that north direction. So that's pretty cool. Still need to do some testing with that. Then we have the anti-grav cube. So this was given to, it's a deployable cube that's given to the heavy build that manipulates gravity and its immediate era. So it's almost like a cylinder, or it's like a circle in the ground that in a cylinder shape, if you will, just removes the gravity from everything in that vicinity. It's almost like when you see footage of like astronauts in space, and they're kind of slowly, or they're like floating around a little bit in the spacecraft, and there's 0 G's or 0 gravity or whatever. It's a lot like that. I don't know if this is that great or that viable. It seems like I've used it to escape. So when I'm running away, I've like thrown it down behind me, like in a doorway. So when someone tries to chase me through that doorway, they'll get caught in that grab if they're foolish enough to continue to try to go through it. And then I just mow them down. I've used it like that. I've thrown it down on some cash outs to try to make it a little more difficult to steal. But I don't know if it's that much better than, maybe the mesh shield. But again, we're going to need to do some testing. But it's cool. It's cool. And then, of course, you have the Data Reshaper, last but finally not least. The Data Reshaper this goes for the medium. So the Data Reshaper transforms objects in the arena to something else entirely. This gadget for the medium build will transform deployed equipment from other contestants into harmless arena props. So the whole thing of this, as you can see in this video, is it'll turn people's turrets into just, things that aren't going to do anything to you, like, a flower pot or a street sign or whatever. It can change canisters into different types of canisters. It can change someone's, like landmine or gas mine or explosive mine or gas mine into something like, I don't know, like a dog bowl. I don't know really what it'll change to, but it's basically a defense tool. One of the other things that I saw in some testing that you could do with it is someone throws a projectile at you, like at a grenade. If you're good enough, you can turn that grenade into something else while in the air. Or even if someone shoots a rocket at you, you can turn that rocket into a flower pot. So it's a pretty astute defensive weapon. But again, is this going to have enough of an impact to make you want to replace something like the heal beam as the medium? I don't. No, wait. No, it's a gadget. This is a gadget. So this is not a specialization. Okay. Well, then in that case, maybe there's some viability to it. I just don't know if it's strong enough or not. Okay. So they made some changes here into like the battle pass. They've added this new system that they're calling Become a Professional, or the circuit, rather, the pro circuit or the challenger circuit. I don't know. It's the circuit. So let's read what we got here. The Season 2 Battle Pass has 12 pages and 96 rewards. That's dope. So you're getting 96 free things. Totally awesome. Each page offers a theme that is our love letter to the early days of gaming. So we're talking retro, right? With each level, you'll earn awards from the seasonal sponsors and even some unsanctioned prizes from the CNS. Please don't forget to snag the seasonal bundle, blah, 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 blah. They're just trying to sell you stuff there. Which, by the way, if you've logged into the game for Season 2 already and you've looked at the store, like, oh my gosh. Embark, take my money. You came correct with some of the skins and the weapon skins and the different outfits this season. Off the chain. Like, I'm all about it. I'm just like cashing it out. Cashing it out. Was that a pun? Wasn't intended. All right. So let's talk about what this circuit is here. The Battle Pass isn't the only way to earn rewards. We're also introducing a new career circuit. That's what they're calling it, career circuit. Each week, a new set of contracts will unlock in the career menu. These allow contestants to cash in on contracts and earn free rewards. At the end of each weekly set will be a sponsored prize. You'll be able to fulfill contracts at your own leisure, but you'll need to wait for each new circuit to unlock throughout the entire length of the season. The career circuit can increase your skill and coax you into trying new variety of new things throughout the season. So basically, you'll have your things that you can do to unlock different cosmetics through this career circuit program. So it's just kind of another way to earn free stuff. And some of those challenges will basically try to get you to use things that you might not be using very often. Like, let's say, for instance, the tracking dart, or, the tracking dart gun or whatever. Who is using that? Then we'll talk about that later. But, it might be like you have to land 50 of these or something. It's like just so they can get somebody to select that as one of the utilities. So this is pretty dope. You just go through this, which you'll probably knock a lot of these out pretty easily just by playing the game. And it's just another way Embark is kind of giving back to us just to, for us just enjoying what they've made. So that's pretty cool. They've got something here talking about better matches. And this is referring to the league ranking overhaul that they've made in Season 2. So the goal is to provide a much better quality experience when playing the ranked tournament. You'll get your starting rank based on the first 8 rounds, and from there, you'll move up and down based on your performance. Contestants can expect to land between bronze and gold at first and climb the ranks from there. So this is kind of dope. This reminds me of Halo. Like my whole background basically is Halo. I played it obsessively, kind of tried to get competitively, like way back in the day. But the thing is here is like now they have a placement system, and I believe a lot of games do that. So that's really dope. You play your first 8 rounds, and then it places you within a rank. Now what it says here though is climb the wait. You'll move up and down based on your performance. Now that's a bit ambiguous. That's kind of an umbrella term when it says performance. One thing I like about Halo, and I think other games have adopted this in terms of ELO, is you can move up and down on rank, not solely based on a win or loss, but also how you performed personally as an individual. Because if I'm in a game and let's say I go 21-8, and maybe we still lose. Maybe I don't lose as much rank, or maybe I even go up a little bit, just depending on how my performance was. Or let's say we win and I'm 21-8, but my team, and I'm just really carrying. Like, it's by all the statistics, it's just clearly defined that I'm carrying, and all my other teammates, or have a teammate who went like 0-9 or 0-12, really didn't contribute much. Maybe he'll go up a little because he got the win, but maybe I will go up a lot, as it is based on not only the win but my performance in the game as an individual. That would be dope. Like, I think that's kind of the best way for rank placement. I hope that's what they did. I've not been able to test that out. And then private matches. This is one of the things I talked about. I made some posts about this on the finals Reddit. I wanted private matches so bad, and I'm so glad that they did it. However, it is not great. But there's a asterisk to that. So let's read. We're also introducing our first version of private matches. In this early bare bones version, you'll be able to optimize matches with a minimum of 6 friends to play Banquet or Cash or Quick Cash. We plan to expand this tool throughout the season, so this season, with more features, so stay tuned. And as if everything will rely on your experiences and feedback, yada, yada, yada. So here's the thing. To get into a private match, it's clunky as hell. It is like really, really difficult because you can only go into a private match with a party of 3, and you can only go in there by yourself. And then you have to send each private match that you start with your party of 3, it creates like this little lobby code. And then you have to send that lobby code to another party of 3. So that leader of that party can enter in the lobby code to join your lobby to do a private match. But here's the thing. You can't talk to that person in game. Like, I tried this with my friend the other day, or yesterday rather. So I had a party of 3. I started a lobby for us to play a private match. And then I ran into that wall of like, well, how do I get this lobby code to him? There's no way for me to communicate to him in game. Of course, I have Discord. He's got Discord. We're part of Discord together. Which, by the way, if you wanted to join our Discord, we just did this so we can like find private matches and teams more quickly. You can hit me up in the DMs or message me or whatever, but I'm going to vet you because I only want like cool people. Like, and by that, I mean, I don't want like toxic kind of like jerk faces. You don't have to be good. I just want you to be cool, because I play, like, my whole family plays this game. All of us, I've got 3 kids. Even my wife plays. Like, we all have got our own systems, and we gear up and we smash. So it's not, I've got a 9-year-old, and it's not about being the best. I just want cool people. So anyways, I digress. So I had to send this to him through the Discord to get him to join. And then when we're in the lobby together, we still can't even talk. I mean, the comms in this system or the comms in this game are broken AF. You know, I play with somebody that's on Xbox console, and when I'm playing with him, when we go into the menu system in between games, I can't hear him. He can't hear me. We can only start to hear each other as the game's kind of beginning to load up. Broken AF. And then when I'm playing with him, as we're in a party in our first game, he's console, and then I get with someone on PC who's on Steam or whatever, I can hear the Steam guy. I can hear my friend that's in a lobby with me who's, you know, playing on Xbox, but they can't hear each other until like the next. It's just, I don't know. Sorry, I've kind of got on a little bit of a rant here. So private matches, they said it's bare bones. They kind of like acknowledged like, hey, this is not what it's going to be, but we just wanted to give you something to start with. So thank you, Embark, for that. Also, thank you for saying this season you're going to continue to refine that. And I trust that they will, because let's be honest, they've been real hands-on with updates. Like, tip of the hat to Embark for just the devs for being on top of changes and trying to deal with problems very, very quickly. Super dope. That's one of the things that has attracted me to this game so much. All right, now let's dive into some of these bullet points in terms of the updates and patch notes for Season 2. New abilities and equipment. They've introduced a new map, the Horizon map, SYS, $ Horizon. This map is dope. It has got, I mean, it's freaking like nostalgia, like 80s video game, like beep bop boop. It's just out of control. I've only played it a couple times, so I've not gotten to fully explore it yet, but man, it just the aesthetic, the design, it's a lot of fun. Then of course you have the new game show event, and that's Retro Invasion 82. And that's an homage to, it's not Galaga, Space Invaders. Yeah, so that's an homage to Space Invaders, where the little Space Invaders kind of like materialize in the sky above, and they start dropping like little Space Invader bombs. That's pretty cool too. Specializations, I'm not going to go over the dematerializer. We talked about that. The 3 new gadgets, which is the Gateway, the Data Reshaper, and the Reverse Gravity Cube, we've discussed. FAMAS 93R. I swear I thought that was not. Anyway, 93R, the pistol, and then the KS-23 slug shotgun for the heavy, we've discussed. Balance changes. And this is one of the things that if you stay to the end of the video, I'm going to take us into the custom or the private match the practice mode. And I'm going to show you exactly what they did with these throwables, because they essentially set it up in a way where nuking is not a thing. Let's read through these real quick. So, added diminishing returns on damage from nukes, i.e. throwable objects that carry C4s, breach charges, or mines. For each source of explosion damage, including the throwable, and starting with the highest, a damage modifier is applied to each instance in the sequence of 60%, 40%, 30%, and 20%. So, diminishing returns. Meaning that if you're stacking, C4 onto a throwable object, like, the explosive canister, it's going to do 60% of the original damage, and then that's stackable, and it lowers, it cones down in the percentage in this sequence that we just discussed. Gas canisters now immediately start to steer off their direct trajectory. Gas canisters now immediately start to steer off their direct trajectory, aka wobble, when they have an attachment. It's not just gas canisters, or is it? We'll prove it later. Stay tuned. When picking up throwable objects with explosive gadgets attached, i.e. nukes and snukes, said explosives will become unarmed. When players let go of the carried object, and a rearming timer for the explosive starts. Okay. The explosions from the C4s, breaching charge, and all mines that detonate while unprimed now deal 20% of the original damage. So that is a big drop right there. Decreased the health value of propane gas tanks from 250 to 120. Fixed a bug with fuel barrels where they sometimes wouldn't ignite when taking damage, for example, from explosions or bullets. We got a little dev comment here. And this is what it's all about. Nukes were a hot button issue in Season 1. The previous tuning made nukes exceed the intended time to kill by a large margin. I mean, that's kind of an understatement. You could wipe a whole team like that with a blink of an eye. I don't know if you heard, I snapped in real life. Since our initial changes weren't substantial enough to alter this tactic, we've added more ways to balance nukes moving forward. Okay, so they did address this in Season 1. They made a change to it, but to be honest, nukes were still a pretty viable choice or option. And when they say we've added more ways to balance nukes moving forward, they actually essentially kind of just removed nukes, and a nuke being putting like C4 on an explodable object, or, you know, the explosive canister. They basically just squashed that, and I'll show that later. Toxic gas. Here's kind of a big one, honestly. Added a delay to the application of damage. Damage now starts to tick 0.5 seconds after the player enters the gas cloud. So as opposed to, I believe, maybe it was immediately prior. Added new functionality that causes damage to ramp up gradually over time from 30 HPs per second to 60 HPs over 2 seconds. So that changes that a little bit. Increased damage tick interval from 0.1 seconds per tick to 0.3 seconds per tick. And in the comment, what they've said here is, we've always intended for toxic gas to act as an arena denial tool. However, because of its immediate high damage and quick dispersal, it has been too potent. So they're just saying, like, it's too damn strong. We've made changes to make toxic gas better fit the original intention. Okay, I can appreciate that. So some of the gadgets here on C4, which they've decreased the ammo count at start from 2 to 1. They've decreased, so you're not putting 2 C4s onto a canister, although it's totally changed anyway. Decreased cooldown from 45 seconds to 30 seconds. Decreased minimum damage at the edge of the explosion from 35 to 75. So they basically kind of nerfed the AOE of the C4. So C4 kind of got a nerf overall, I think. The defibrillator. So this is a big one. Defibrillator for the medium. Added functionality that causes revived players to gradually rematerialize into the level over a period of 3 seconds before fully loading back into the arena. So what this means is, when you shock someone with your defibrillator, they don't just automatically insta pop back up and start murking. Now all of a sudden, what pops up is a like this virtual kind of shell of a person, like an avatar. And as that shell pops up, that pops up immediately, but it doesn't move or anything. It stands perfectly still. And over a 3-second time span, you begin to basically after 3 seconds, then you spawn in. That's essentially what it is. So it's no more insta-res. It's 3-sec res. And then from there, it's increased charge up time from 0.6 seconds to 0.8 seconds. So what this means is, when you hold, like on controller players, if you pull your defib out and you hold right trigger, mouse players, you're pushing down the left click button. It used to be 6 seconds of like pulling the trigger to charge up the defibs. Bam, then you can blast it. It is now 8 seconds. And honestly, you feel this. I know it's 0.2 seconds, but it does feel a little different. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but you feel it. And then they increased the starting health from the defibrillator revive from 40% to 50%. So what this means is, like, when you pop up from your defibrillator revive, you now spawn with 50% health as opposed to 40, so a 10% increase. And maybe they did this as like a balancing thing, but this is a nerf to me overall. And it's kind of welcomed. I think, when you get 3 mediums just spamming defibs, they nerfed the defib. I'm okay with it because I didn't do that. I didn't play that meta where you just stack mediums when mediums were mediums and they had recon senses and all that kind of crap. I didn't do that. I just played what I thought was the most fun, and because I'm kind of a masochist, so that's a light. Dome shield. Decreased maximum duration from 20 seconds to 12 seconds. That's kind of a big chunk, but I used the Dome Shield a lot when we played the Power Shift, the new game mode, and it felt okay. I didn't really feel it there, so it's fine. Jump pad, increased cooldown from 25 seconds to 30 seconds. Motion sensor, moved from the light archetype to the heavy, so motion sensor is now on heavies. They've done some stuff with the RPG here. So they fixed an issue that made dispersion almost identical regardless of what state the player was in. Increased projectile dispersion in all non-aiming states. So, you're not aiming down sights. Reduced projectile dispersion when aiming down sights. Increased zoom in time from 0.2 seconds to 0.4 seconds. So they made that a little longer. Increased equip time from 0.45 seconds to 0.5 seconds, and increased unequipped time from 3.35 to 0.4 seconds. So I don't know. They fixed some things and then nerfed some things in terms of like how you can use the RPG. I never felt like it was like being abused or even need much look, but evidently they've got some data that says otherwise. Sonar grenade moved from medium to the light. So light has sonar now. Here's the deal. Tracking dart. Who is using the tracking dart? I've never, ever seen the tracking dart in a game. I'd be like, why? Tell me. Let me know in the comments. Maybe I just don't know what the full capacity. Maybe it's Thor's hammer in this bitch. I have no idea. The tracking dart? They're even like, remove it. So here's what they've done. They gave it to the light. Moved from the medium to the light. Like, great. Give the light something else to suck with. Decreased dispersion in most movement states by 50%. Increased accuracy by decreasing dart dispersion. I didn't even know it had dispersion. Decreasing dart dispersion while aiming down sights from 30% to 10%. Added force feedback to controllers. Okay. So, I don't know. They tried to like improve the tracking dart. But like, again, when and why would you use the tracking dart? Why would you waste... There's so many other more viable utilities. I can't imagine a place where I'm like, nah, I'd rather have tracking dart right now. Like said no one ever. Okay, anyway. Vanishing bomb. This is dope. I like the vanishing bomb. I don't use camo as my specialization when I play light because I respect myself. I've got personal integrity. Just kidding, lights, but not really. So vanishing bomb. Increased grace period on teammates from 0.75 to 1.25. Buff. That's awesome. Increased total cloak duration on teammates from 6 seconds to 7.5 seconds. Buff. That's awesome. Teammates get more vanishing bomb. Increased total cloak duration for the user from 5 seconds to 6 seconds. Dope. That's a buff. You get more invis time with the vanishing bomb. I think the vanishing bomb is a nice balanced approach to having invis in the game. And I kind of think just the invis or cloak specialization for the light it's a little cheap. I may use it if I want to troll, pull my sword out and go camo and just be a troll. Anyway. Specializations. Recon senses removed. They totally just pulled it. They're like, I don't know what to do. Everyone's like, I don't know what to do with my hands right now when it comes to recon senses. Dev note, we've concluded that recon senses have been determined to the game at large. Detrimental to the game at large, and have decided to put it out of play for now. The specialization may return in some new form down the line, but only after a major rework. Wall hacks, anybody? I don't know what they're going to do with it. That might never come back. Who knows? And I'm okay with it. Mesh shield. Increased cooldown on a fully depleted shield from 12 seconds to 15 seconds. Okay. Increased starting health after full depletion from 200 to 250 seconds. Kind of a little bit of a nerf overall, in my opinion. I think in this whole update, I think they tried to nerf the medium and the heavy, but not directly, almost a little bit and kind of indirectly, but they also tried to make the light more viable, but they didn't really buff the light. They just tried to make them more important, is what I think there. So weapons, AKM, that's that iron sight assault rifle for the medium. They decreased the fall off damage minimum range from 35 meters to 30 meters. They decreased damage fall off max range from 40 meters to 37.5. And they decreased damage fall off modifier at max range from 67% to 55%. They nerfed that. They nerfed the AKM, and I have a theory. So now the FCAR. Decreased damage fall off modifier at max range from 67% to 55%. Another nerf. What I think is this is an attempt to make the FAMAS, the FAMAS a more viable weapon. I think that the FAMAS is a better AKM and a slightly worse FCAR, but actually has more success potential than the FCAR. It's got a larger clip. The recoil pattern is one of the easiest recoil patterns to manage in the entire game. And so I think these changes or modifications to the FCAR and the AKM is really to make the FAMAS more of a shining assault rifle, and I think it worked. Lewis gun updated weapon recoil pattern to be slightly less accurate over time during sustained firing. Slightly less accurate, I think, is an understatement. I usually use the Lewis gun as a heavy, and the recoil pattern is out of control now. It is way more wild of a question mark on mushrooms. I mean, it is okay. So there's that, and then what I think they did is they wanted to make the M60 more viable, because we'll talk about what they did there in a second. So they made the Lewis gun just a little bit more difficult to use, while making the M60 a lot better, because I don't think anybody was really using the M60, if I'm being honest. But in between that, they talked about the M11. So they're like, look, heavy weapon. Now we'll talk about the M11, then we'll go back to heavy weapon. So anyways, M11, increased accuracy by decreasing bullet dispersion when firing from the hip, because they essentially want you to be Rambo. All right, that's cool. That could be fun. M60, updated weapon recoil pattern to be slightly more accurate over time during sustained firing. So this gun gets more accurate as you fire. Increased accuracy by decreasing bullet dispersion while moving when firing from the hip. Another increased accuracy. Increased accuracy by decreasing bullet dispersion while moving when firing while aiming down sights. They just basically made this thing like more of a sniper rifle. I mean, not really, but you know what I'm saying. Decreased accuracy slightly by increasing bullet dispersion while standing still when firing and aiming down sights. So they're like, basically, if you don't move and you're aiming down sights, we'll make it just a little bit, we'll just decrease the accuracy just a little. Because I don't know. Don't stand still, basically, especially in this game. The R357 increased damage fall off modifier at max range from 33% to 45%. Okay. Throwing knives increased projectile speed from 120 meters to 138 meters per second. Let's go. Shoom, 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 shoom. That would just be flying by. XP54 decreased accuracy by increasing bullet dispersion when firing from the hip in most movement states. I don't really like that at all. I almost don't know what it means, but decreased accuracy automatically, I was like, okay, that's a nerf. Don't nerf my XP54, please. And they're decreasing bullet dispersion when firing from the hip, so obviously you're not aiming through the scope. But in most movement states, what does that mean? That feels like a bit ambiguous. And then if it's most movement states, which movement states does the accuracy not decrease? Is it while jumping? I don't know. Like embark. It's kind of a political move right there. Politician speak. But, whatever. Equipment mastery. Added new levels with rewards to the following equipment items. I'll just let you read through this, but they basically added new skins and stuff, when gaining XP in these weapons. Also gadgets. So you can get new free skins just by using the gadget, as well as specializations. So, there's that. Cool. Gameplay. Added an option for auto sprint in gameplay sections in settings. Dev comment. You can turn on auto sprint in the settings menu and select the time it takes for your contestant to begin sprinting. The finals has a unique omnidirectional sprinting system, which means characters can sprint in all directions instead of more common forward only sprint. As such, we'd love to get your feedback on auto sprint and what additional settings would help you to better customize your sprinting experience. So basically you could set an auto delay. So I could turn on auto sprint, but say like you only turn on after 5 seconds. I don't know. I don't think I like that. I think I want to control my sprint, but you tell me what you think. Maybe you've got a different opinion. Change my mind. The preview art for grenades now shows where they will detonate in their trajectory. So that's kind of cool. Improved an issue where controller players would unintentionally drop carried objects when trying to interact. Now, carried objects won't be dropped when pressing the interact and equip button if the weapon is already equipped. Good for you, controller people. Okay. Lord, This is a long and massive, patch note video. Like, what are we in here? For 38 minutes. I don't know, or 39 minutes, and we still have to do testing. It's like 30-something minutes. All right, here we go. Bug fixes. Fix an issue. Well, you know what? I don't know if I'm going to go through all these. Guys, if you really want the bug fixes, the animation fixes, some of these game mode fixes, levels. You know what I tell you? One that they did, though, actually, there was a bug where sometimes players, if two teams got wiped, they would sometimes spawn in the same area. They fixed that, so that was pretty good. I was reading through these bug fixes, and I didn't see any fixes about the communication issues that we're seeing in terms of like chat. And so, yeah, hopefully they'll get to that. So I'll put a link for the patch notes in the description if you wanted to go through and read some of these bug fixes, but I'm not sure you're totally interested in that. All right, without further ado, let's jump over to the practice arena and do a little test. Okay, I've loaded in here. I've got the explosive canister. I've got my C4. As you can see in my 4 slot there at the bottom right of the screen, I only have a 1 C4. Remember, there used to be 2. So I'm going to stick this guy to that. I'm going to pick her up. Now watch this toss. Oh my gosh, it's all, blow up. That thing is all over the place. All over the place. I'll let this load. With the movie magic, he will come back and all of a sudden I will have C4. All right, so let's check this out. So I'm going to throw the C4 to that, and it's disarmed. Okay, now it's armed. So that's that arm delay it was talking about. Let's grab this. Look at this toss. Boom, all over the place. Go, 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 explode. All right, let's do it one more time because, third time's a charm. Toss it on. Okay, come on, start beeping. There we go. All right, now I'm holding you. Okay. Now I'm going to give her a toss. Let's see. It's so rando. You no longer are you throwing laser beams with the canister. Look at that. Bam, laser beam. You put a throwable on there, and all of a sudden you're not doing it. Like you're not using the nuke in the way you used to be able to use them. So pretty much no more team wiping with the snook nuke. Whether you loved it, you hated it. I kind of just personally, I didn't like it. If come on. I didn't like it. So there you have it, folks. Oh, let's take a look at one more thing. Here's a little peek at the recoil pattern for the Lewis gun. Okay, all right, there's that. Now we have the recoil pattern for the M60. Oh, there's just so many bullets. Look at that. That's a lot easier to control, in my opinion. Now, let's check one more. Okay, so I switched to medium real quick. I just wanted to show you the recoil pattern with the FAMAS. I'm just pumping the trigger here. That's so easy to control. Oh my gosh. Accuracy out the gate. Let's go. All right, ladies and gents, thank you for staying tuned through this entire video. If you made it to the end, you're an absolute boss. I guess the obligatory, please like, subscribe, all that stuff. But if you don't, that's cool too. Hopefully I'll make stuff that you enjoy. Stay tuned for the next video.